Buildaid Media, powered by builders and supported by Mix 93.8 FM and SA Garden and Home, are proud to bring you this Homeowner Workshop series. Throughout this series, we will be showcasing a wide variety of industry specialists to ensure a positive building experience. In this episode, Philip Kirby and Shawn Dammermann from Easy Life Kitchens discuss kitchens from a budgeting and design perspective and highlight the importance of proper planning, especially for kitchen appliances. Your host is Graham Alexander from Buildaid Media.
Shawn is one of Easy Life's franchisees. Not only talk to clients, but Shawn, you're also involved in the installation and so on of kitchens. The first two that come up for me, Shawn, is the plumber and the electrician, because they're probably the most, well, maybe not the most important, but there are two critical contractors in the building of a home, but also with kitchens. How do you communicate with those guys? Or through who do you communicate with them?
Well, through the designer of the kitchen. We would, once the design was done, we would go and mark the site, mark out where all the points are going to be, the water points, electrical points, whether you need a dishwasher or a prep bowl. We would physically go out and mark where they're going to be on the site.
We're going to chat about appliances a little later with Philip. You could get something like a fridge now with water in the fridge, so we can't forget the plumber.
Yeah, that's right, Graham. Behind a fridge that needs to be plumbed, you need to allow for the water point. And quite often it happens that the client decides that they would like to have a fridge with a water dispenser or an ice dispenser, and you get to the site to do the installation, and no one's remembered about the water point, and then it becomes quite messy. The walls have to get chased, and the water point is installed, so it's messy and costly.
Shawn, you guys develop a three-dimensional model of the kitchen when you're designing it, so that your clients can understand how it's been put together and designed, and importantly, the architect too. And you obviously then bump into things like windows. And I know sometimes architects go crazy. We have a house that we're doing in Stain City and the window moved. But luckily, our system of design, the window above it also moved. So you don't get to a site and this window's here and the other one's over there because people weren't talking to each other. Can you see all those things in your model?
Yes. We use one of the most advanced kitchen drawing programs. And it's fantastic. It almost renders your design photorealistic, and it's excellent. It's got you can put couches in and really dress it up and make it look as real as possible. It doesn't just look like a cartoon drawing. It's a photographic image of exactly how your kitchen's going to look.
So there are three important surface areas that also come into play. The floor, the walls, and the ceiling. So you're picking that up in the model that your clients at least, or your architect has a go at what color or what type of walls or floors should be used.
Yes.
The cost of kitchens, and I think a lot of people go, what? 300,000 Rand for a kitchen? It's what's in it. And I think what's also important is that people understand, homeowners understand when they're about to design that it's not just 300,000 Rand, it could be 150, it could be 500,000 Rand. It's like, how long's a piece of string? What goes into, what are the ingredients or the cost factors in a kitchen?
Well, really, you've got your carcasses, your tops and your doors are the main cost factors in the kitchen. But like you said, a kitchen doesn't have to cost 300,000 Rand. We can do a kitchen, or any kitchen company can do a kitchen. If you wanted a high gloss kitchen that costs, say, 50,000 Rand, with some clever usage of materials, you could make it cost 35,000 Rand. The doors would still be gloss, but the side panels might be melamine, and getting creative with the different finishes available. We don't have to use always the top of the range finishes to give you a stunning looking kitchen.
And sometimes part of that cost, I guess, Shawn, is in the mechanism or the fittings that are, the hinges and so on?
Yes, well, there's with the material costs, you've got your high-end finishes, your medium price finishes, and your entry-level finishes. The same goes for the insides. You can have entry-level drawers, medium-range drawers, or top-of-the-range drawers. If you've got lots of cast iron pots and heavy pots, you're going to need to go for one of the middle-range drawer systems that can take 32 kilograms in each drawer. And maybe that means then you're going to have to sacrifice a bit on your finishes. So if you might wanted a high gloss finish, but you need those drawers to take your heavy pots, then you might have to go for a cheaper finish so that you can have those drawers to keep within your budget. Because the most important thing is not to blow the budget.
So it's a complex calculation, if you like. So this is the style, but we'll go with these kind of drawers, this kind of mechanism, these kind of cupboards, and that'll come to 150,000. Let's change the drawers, that's 170,000. And so,
Exactly.
so the client and the architect are involved and control how that price is put together.
Yes.
Let's have a look at some styles of kitchens. And these are your common styles that you guys have been promoting for a while and are still promoting. I don't think we need to explain what contemporary is and so on. I think what's important is to understand that you guys do address certain styles. But Philip, you're also in touch with what's going on internationally.
We've got a few generic categories of kitchen styles: your country style, your contemporary style, your modern style, and classic style. And it's often a function of the architect's drawings as to what style of kitchen you'll put into a certain house. So the architect and the client provide us with the lead for the designer to design according to that style. But in the South African market, we find that we tend to follow the European trends, and as opposed to, let's say, the American or Australian or the UK trends. And so as a company, we attend a show in Milan every second year called Euro Cucina, and they showcase the latest finishes and styles of kitchens in Europe, mainly the Italian and German markets. And that's what we tend to follow in the South African market.
You guys have a concept called evolution, which I think maybe Phil, try and simplify that for us. What does it mean?
Essentially, it's research that's been done by various European companies, including the companies that manufacture the fittings, such as the drawer runners. And evolution is the way that Easy Life Kitchens has implemented these findings. So essentially, it creates greater cubic capacity in your cabinets. So on the base units or floor units, as we call them, the plinth or kick plate height has been reduced from what is the traditional 150 millimeters to 80 millimeters. And that allows you to put in a 6-tier drawer system, whereas the previous standard was more or less a 4-tier drawer system. And there's various combinations that you can use for your drawers. The wall units, we've extended the depth by an extra 10% to 330 millimeters, which again increases your cubic capacity and allows you to store slightly wider items in your wall units. In addition to the additional storage space, the Evolution system allows all the lines to line up in the kitchen. So all the horizontal lines will now be consistent throughout the kitchen, and it follows the European trend of handleless kitchens, which is very popular at the moment. And so we've implemented that rationale into our cabinetry and into our design.
But we've gone a long way, Philip, and Easy Life Kitchens with regard to storage and how you access storage, particularly from a drawer point of view. And I guess that's because hardware or rails and hinges of that have just become so much more sophisticated.
Yeah, I think the kind of joke around you're having a fight in the kitchen and your wife is upset with you and slams the drawer, that doesn't really happen anymore because of the soft close technology that's been implemented into kitchen drawer systems. And I think that was really the first step in terms of drawer technology, is working towards soft closing drawers. And as Shawn said, It started off with your, call it your entry-level drawer system. And now that technology has evolved to add additional weight capacities and to add additional aesthetic elements. So for example, the cabinet member is very sleek and you almost don't see it, and all the mechanism is actually underneath the drawer base. So it's totally hidden from the eye, and they've gone for a perfectly symmetrical square look. So as these design trends evolve, the hardware manufacturers design their products to match the look that the designers are going for.
Something that I believe is quite South African is that kitchen manufacturers and installers like Easy Life also do cupboards and vanities and bars and so on, whereas in the rest of the world there could be other specialists. It does make the architect and the client's life easier because now you're dealing with one company. But just a quick thing on cupboards. I think it's something that is also not properly considered when it comes to, yeah, I need 3 meters of cupboards, that's it. Yeah. And we don't think about the drawers and the shelves and the hanging space and double hanging. Yes. I guess it could be quite technical in how you design a cupboard.
So to your first point, it's not uncommon for a client to be standing in a showroom with the designer and they've completed their kitchen design and they could be standing in front of the built-in cupboard display and say, oh, do you guys do cupboards as well? You know, so there's a bit of a disconnect between the fact that the majority of kitchen companies can also offer other storage solutions such as bedroom cupboards, vanities, and living areas, bars, studies, etc. Cupboards is perhaps a bit of a neglected aspect, as you say, and the traditional kind of 1.8 meter cabinet or built-in cupboard with 600 shelving and 1.2 meter hanging was the norm, whereas that whole space has evolved significantly. There's various options such as sliding doors with either glass or mirror, and various accessories that can go into your cupboards, for example, your shoe racks, wardrobe lifts, tie racks, drawers for your belts or ties or whatever. So there's a lot that can be done from a design point of view and from a functionality point of view with bedroom cupboards. The same applies to bathroom vanities, where we would look at the space that is available and custom design a bathroom vanity in order to make it look aesthetically pleasing, but also as functional as possible.
And vanities, I think, are so important that there's storage somewhere. The good old cabinets. If you had steel kitchens, you probably had a medicine box above with a mirror on it, although they were quite practical. And I've seen a lot of modern design, not quite like that, but where there is some kind of storage behind the mirror. So you design these beautiful bathrooms, and you come and have a look at the first inspections, and there's bottles and toothbrushes that shouldn't be there. Again,
it's the storage accessories that you can incorporate into your vanity design to make it as functional as possible. And if the space allows, you can have the alternatives of a his and hers vanity and so on. So although we work generally with modular sizes, everything can be customized to that specific client's requirements.
And then we look at studies and bars. I don't know if bars are as popular as they used to be. I suppose it's because of building costs now. You don't have as many square meters. But I get a feeling they're coming back. Is that a fair view?
I think so. I think the terminology has changed slightly. Studies is maybe now more a home office, and it incorporates an area for kids to do their homework in those areas. So it's kind of a hub where you might have your home printer and the router for the Wi-Fi and so on, and just that an area that the family can make use of to work. And the concept of the traditional bar has also changed. I use the terminology wet bar, which is more of a lifestyle type of bar area. So it's not your traditional cabinets at the back with glasses and bottles and that, and a counter in front, but really an area that when you're entertaining, people will be able to go and gravitate around that in order to help themselves to a drink or some snacks. or the ice machine or whatever. So yeah, I think there's been a move from the traditional bars as we know to more of a lifestyle oriented bar area.
So before you employ the architect, there's nothing wrong as a homeowner sketching out your plan and thinking about all of this stuff. In fact, it's probably a good idea because the architect's going to ask you these things anyway. But remember, when you do sketch out a kitchen, electrical, plumbing, gas, where are the windows, what kind of floor is going to fit into the ceilings, even if you don't know how to design it or even consider how it interacts, at least know it's there. When employing a kitchen contractor, what do homeowners need to look out for?
I think the kitchen industry is not as highly regulated as, for example, the architect's profession. We saw earlier how architects, it's a compulsory requirement to be registered with a governing body. But there is a regulatory body within the kitchen space called the Kitchen Specialists Association. Membership of the association is voluntary, and my recommendation would be that a homeowner that's about to embark on a project checks if the kitchen contractor is a member of the Kitchen Specialists Association. I think it would give them a certain peace of mind because the members of the Kitchen Specialists Association have to abide by the code of ethics, and if there was a situation that transpired that there was a site inspection or a mediation required, then the kitchen company would be bound by that site inspection and would have to comply with any of the findings of that inspection. They also provide a trust account that should there be a dispute and the kitchen association gets involved, that the client is able to pay the balance of the money that might be due on that project into the kitchen association's trust account, and that money will only be released to the kitchen company on the successful completion of any of the disputes that are still outstanding. There was a recent expose on carte blanche where a kitchen contractor was at fault for essentially taking deposits from clients and not completing the jobs to the satisfaction of the client or in line with the specifications that were already agreed. And I think it just showed that in that situation, the client really doesn't have a lot of recourse against that company. So my recommendation would be to check on the Kitchen Specialists Association website and to ensure that your kitchen contractor is a member of the association.
At what point during construction do you guys arrive on site? Where does the building need to be?
Well, the best is last. The installation of the kitchen happens last. You want to have a clean canvas. You want the flooring to be done. You want the walls to be painted, the ceiling to be done, all the electrical fittings put in, so that when we come in, when we finish, you move straight into your kitchen. You also don't want an electrician to come after us and to put the lights in and bump the doors with a ladder, or the plumber to come in and mess up your brand new kitchen. So we're basically the last people to come in.
And that's obviously after it's been planned properly, so all the points are in the right place, but you guys coordinate that before you actually put it in.
Yes, yeah. So once you've decided on your design and you say, okay, yes, let's go, we then go and speak to the plumber, the electrician. We'll give them the plans. We'll mark out the site so that we can make sure everything's in the right place, yeah, handle it for you.
Okay. So the kitchen, as we understand, has all sorts of bits and pieces, drawers and cupboards and handles, but it also has a whole lot of appliances involved. Philip, just to look at some of the common appliances, and I know it can go on forever, and when it comes to home automation, there could be television sets, lights turning on and off automatically as you enter the room. You could even have facial recognition so that it sets the oven going. So it's a lot more, but just the common stuff.
Your main areas are your cooking and refrigeration and washing are the main areas of appliances. On the cooking side, you've got your oven options and hobs, and together with the hobs you'd want to look at your extraction, and with the ovens you have the option of built-in or freestanding, and the same with your hob. You could have a freestanding oven with the cooker or hob, or you could have your built-in hob and extractor. So on with regards to hobs, you've got various options in terms of electric hobs and gas hobs, and under the banner of electric hobs, you've now a newer development is induction cooking as well, which is becoming incredibly popular in Europe, and we're starting to see in the South African market how induction is really gaining popularity, and it's extremely energy efficient as well, and a very effective way of cooking.
And steamers?
Steamers as well is an option. There's, I guess, under appliances, you've also got your countertop appliances, such as your kettles, your toasters, microwaves. So steamers can be built in, or can be a countertop appliances. In the same vein, your coffee machine. Built-in coffee machines are very popular, and you often find that the appliance brands will have aesthetically designed appliances that your oven, your coffee machine, your steamer will all have the same aesthetic detail and can be built in a horizontal line or one on top of the other, together with microwaves as well.
There's no such thing as a fridge or a dishwasher. They're all slightly different.
It's a crucial part of the kitchen design process to understand what the appliance requirements are for the client, and specifically what the dimensions are of those appliances. Particularly with refrigeration, there's so many options now with the width and the depth of various fridges and freezers that it's essential for the kitchen company to have that information. The example on the screen at the moment of a double door fridge with water and probably an ice dispenser, chances are that unit is probably 700 millimeters deep, which is deeper than the traditional appliance, which is normally about 600 millimeters. So your nib walls from the architect's drawings would ideally have to be slightly deeper to cater for that, and the side panels and the way that you integrate that appliance into the kitchen design is crucial. The last thing that you want is that the kitchen company arrives on site to commence the installation. You've changed your mind on the perhaps reusing an old fridge. You've gone and bought this fabulous new fridge with a water and ice dispenser, and it sits 100 millimeters proud of all the panels and the cabinetry that's been designed for it. Aesthetically, you immediately lose the the detail of the design.
Washing machines and dishwashers, we all have them. Washing machines can also now come as tumble dryers, so you don't need a third appliance. That image, Philip, shows stacking of machines, and I think that's become quite popular.
I think with space constraints, with limited space, the stacking option is quite popular because it allows you to utilize the same floor square meterage, but get more functionality out of that floor area. But something to consider for washing machines, dishwashers, and even fridges is the integrated solution. Now, your traditional retailers, appliance retailers, might not be able to assist with the full service when it comes to integrated appliances, because in essence what it means is that appliance gets a door frontal, which would be a matching door frontal to the rest of the kitchen, and the appliance essentially gets hidden behind a door, so it looks like a cabinet or it looks like a tall cabinet. And integrated appliances are extremely popular in European markets. I think it's partially due to the fact that being slightly smaller homes, you don't necessarily have a scullery, an option for a scullery area, whereas a lot of South African homes still have your washing up area in a separate room. But I would definitely urge the consumers to consider integrated. It really finishes off the design very nicely, but just to be mindful that an integrated appliance goes with the house if a house gets sold. So if it is integrated and you sell your house, you don't take your
fridge stays.
Yeah, the fridge stays.
But it's okay, you can buy another integrated kitchen.
Yeah.
There are just a couple of points that we need to remember when we start planning our homes. And the first point is budget realistically. Now, you may have no clue on what a home's going to cost. I want 300 square meters and I've got R1 million. You won't have to ask around too much for somebody to tell you that's unrealistic. So don't get let down. Get a realistic budget, and remember there's no such thing as a rate per square meter. We at Buildaid have done over 12,500 residential projects in the last 30 years, and no two of them were the same rate per square meter. The second one, don't take advice from unqualified people. Don't listen to your butcher and your hairdresser. They're not qualified to give you building advice. Guys like this will give it to you for free. But most specialists you talk to, including architects like us, if you come and chat to us, we're not going to charge you to talk to you. We'd like to get your work, but you can actually get good advice from some smart people. Employ the right architect and allow him to do his job. It's not about getting the plans approved. That's just a little part of the architectural process. To design a home takes a lot of energy and effort. One of the reasons architects aren't employed properly is because the homeowner gets a quote, they say, of 150 grand to design my home. Are you crazy? To just draw some plans. You need to understand what's involved. Architects charge between 5 and 10%, depending on the type of work, and they're all negotiable like any commercial deal. But when we sell the home and we pay the estate agent 5%, and it's 5% of the whole project, including the land, there's no problem. The reason there's no problem is it's not a cash flow issue. It's coming out of the proceeds of the sale. Up front, employing an architect coming out of your pocket, you're going, I'm not paying this guy 150 grand, I must be mad. You must seriously look at what an architect does. It is critically important. Other one is get involved. Do what you're doing here this morning. Get involved, read things, check the internet, go to showrooms, talk to people, take your time. Use technology. 3D technology, we design homes in our practice where we'll get you the virtual reality of your home where there's bubbles in the champagne. Your home will be as real as it's built. You'll know exactly what it costs before you start building. If you had 3.1 million rand, it will be 3.1 million rand, and you'll see exactly why it's 3.1 million rand. Use the right architect, use technology, use specialists to give you advice. And if architects don't use specialists, they're either not doing their job properly or they haven't been paid the right fee. They can't do things like kitchens and roof trusses and window frames. Only specialists can do those things. Then employ the right contractor. One of my favorite clients was a man called Ronnie Watson. He was the CEO of Westbank, and he was one of my heroes. He was such an amazing guy. And I had him on the radio show one night to talk to him about how he managed a bank and another game reserve and the lodge I was designing for him. And he told me a whole lot of things. Obviously, he was a good manager, but the thing he said was most critical thing, employ the right contractor, because you're going to live with him for around 9 months. You're going to have to trust him with everything. And then use a contract. Write everything down.
Thank you for joining us. If you would like to watch any more of the workshops in the Homeowner series, follow the Buildaid YouTube channel or visit our website, buildaid.co.za, where you can find a full range of our product offering. To book your seat at our next workshop, visit caxtonevents.co.za. Don't forget to tune into Mix 93.8 FM Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to listen to the Buildaid show.